Welcome to the Scrapyard. I'm your host, BC.
I'm a Coca-Cola addict.
Cokehead.
The Savage.
Flaming Bees.
And tonight's topic, and I just read it. Tonight's topic, Collector Rut Redux. I know we've done this before, so this is going to be quite a few episodes afterwards. And we're literally just kind of touching base on what Collector Rut is and what can really cause it. And because I always do this right at the beginning of every episode now. Give me 1 second. This week's battle, Batman versus Iron Man.
Ooh.
The rich versus the rich. Wait a minute.
So with that stated, let's go ahead and do this. Collector Rut Redux. And this time for the middle section, since I've been consistently putting it off because we always get people in here that haven't seen it yet, we're finally going to do some talking on TF1. We will do some TF1 talking before we do the scrap battle. Good? Good across the board?
Yep.
Sure.
All right, cool. But before we get into all that, we got to do figure appreciation of the week. Ez, Bees, get your ass up here.
You're first.
All right. My figure appreciation. Know that he is Razor Claw.
All hail Razor Claw. All hail Razor Claw. All hail Razor Claw.
Anyway, yeah. Thanks to Mercari, I got the Transformers Universe 1.0 Razor Claw. And yeah, I have the original Tigerhawk figures, so the mold is familiar to me, and this color scheme is badass.
Okay.
Rude, but okay. This week, I got my son, the Litton, as a Lego character.
Awesome. How was the build?
Quick and easy because I literally just did it.
Oh, okay.
Also, his fur bits are all rubbery. So, just to bear in mind to those people who are going to build themselves a Litton.
Okay.
My son.
All right. Nabucco, you first.
This is going to be touching up on a subject I brought up last week. YOLO Park AMK Pro Ape Link.
Nice.
I only have one thing to say about this. Hasbro, why don't you make yours look like this?
It's a fair question.
That's all I can say without getting into trouble.
Yeah, honestly, it's a fair question. Now, my figure appreciation of the week, I don't fully remember if I did this one already. And even if I did, honestly, I don't care. Because he kind of matches up with what we're going to be doing tonight. My figure appreciation of the week is TF1 Deluxe Prime. Now, as you can see, I painted the axe on mine. I'm going to be adding the extra blue to it at some point. Don't know when. All I know is I plan on it. And yeah, honestly, when I got my first copy, I really wasn't big on this. After seeing the movie, I got a new copy. And this just hits so much harder after you've seen the movie. So yeah. That's it. That's figure appreciation of the week across the board. Now, let's do this. And as per usual, 30 minutes on the clock. We're going to go ahead and do the actual conversation piece. And this time, we have an actual timer. So, timer starts now. So, collector rut. What exactly is collector rut? What it is across the board is, well, funny enough, we have actual, like, recent examples with Savage over here. Where, hold on, let me explain. It's when collecting as a whole genuinely isn't enjoyable, or you genuinely just don't really feel the fun of it anymore. Like, just for whatever reason, what you've been collecting is just too stale to you for a time, and or collecting as a whole, as a hobby, really just isn't doing it for you anymore. Like, that's in general what collector rut is. So for me, within recent memory, I dealt with a real rut with collecting when it came to my basically my G1 representation shelf, which is basically the bulk of my collection now. I dealt with the rut with it because of the fact that there were so many characters I still needed to go back and get, and their aftermarket pricing was abysmal. What's up?
Why aren't you in here?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why aren't you in here? Anyways, so Savage, if you will.
For me, my issue with collector Redux is that, or not Redux, Rut Redux, read Rut anyway, is the fact that I'm trying to get myself back into it. Thanks to the power of, yeah, not hit me for this because this is a good example. Power rocks. But every now and then, whenever I actually manage to go out and just look around, my more two recent examples being, I've always find a hard time of like trying to like whether to get it now or don't, which is the power of commit. Shut up, that one forbidden dude in the comment section. I had to pass up not only Titan class Tidal Wave, but animated Motormaster at a recent GameStop I went to go look at. I was like, fuck! So, yeah, no, it's hard trying to find the right moments to get them. And usually my luck in my area, it's either get it now or sayonara, which is why I did the power commit on the party wall. You can see the yellow blob in the corner. So, yeah.
All right, Rob, you want to go ahead and speak up?
Yeah, it's gonna kind of touch up on what you said, aftermarket prices for certain figures, because I'm still on the search for Studio Series Magnus. We've been trying to find the Star Raiders Lockdown, and there's probably plenty of other figures that I'm trying to find just because I want them and can't find them in stores. And looking up, trying to find a decent price online is basically telling me I need to chop off a leg and sell it.
Yeah, it's very, very annoying.
Mm-hmm. It gets to the point where it kind of takes the fun out of collecting half the time.
Though, although hopefully, if what Evan said in that one interview is true, Commander Magnus might be seeing a reissue, so that might soon be something that finally enters your shelves.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I don't have that issue thanks to this one. Hey, bees.
Yes.
Do you have things to say? You got 25 minutes.
All right. I guess this would like, unless I'm misinterpreting the topic. Yeah, when it comes to okay, my phone's making noise. Hold up. You need to shut up. I'm on a stream, phone.
Maximus!
Hey.
Well, shit. You know what I always say.
Oh,
Ow!
I felt that.
Anyway, you know what? As I always say, you can't hit what you can't see, and boom, there he is. I can see him, now I can hit him. Anyway, BC, keep your big freaking noodle out of the way.
Also, real quick,
Beep
my
him.
toy pick of the week is Combiner Wars Long Haul.
The big chungus himself.
For no apparent reason. Just because. Meme.
Sideways elbow action.
Anyway, don't mind me if I'm silent. I'm just working on homework while listening in.
Okay. The topic is collector rut. So if you have something to say, by all means. But before you do, please go.
Anyway, unless I'm misinterpreting the topic, I feel like, yeah, stop me and let me rethink it. Otherwise, so a few months back in March, I because of being like just not making as much money as I used to, and just like financial, well, maybe not financial issues per se, but like just not being able to, just with how things are in this economy, it's just hard for me to be able to afford collecting like I used to. So, and on top of that, I was pretty much completely out of display space. Display space. I ended up selling just about like almost like more than half of my Marvel Legends collection. I sold off almost every MCU-based Marvel Legends figure that I have, and a good chunk of my comic-based Marvel figures, except for select few. I've kept anything and everything pertaining to Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Ghost Rider, and Moon Knight. Just because, like, I wanted to keep all those, and I guess like the core Avengers team, I suppose. Yeah. Like anyway, yeah. It's just, what's up?
So what was the real reason that really pushed you to get rid of all those Marvel Legends? Like that's ultimately where the rut comes in.
That's what I was about to get into.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's just because
Not
of
BC.
just how the economy is, and like how I just couldn't afford collecting Marvel Legends specifically. I've always primarily focused on Transformers and Power Rangers for the longest time. That it's just because of the fact that I couldn't afford as much as I used to. And Marvel Legends, it just lost its appeal. Collecting a lot of Marvel Legends figures. I mean, I still pick up some new Marvel Legends figures, just if it's like specific characters and or teams. It just wasn't fun anymore. It just felt like I don't know, like I almost felt like an obligation if I was trying to complete like a wave, complete team, like complete, get every figure from MCU or whatever. It was starting to feel, it just lost its appeal. It just stopped being enjoyable, which again you can also thank just the way the economy is and not being able to afford a whole lot. And worst of all, back in March, I was incredibly desperate for money. Because, yeah, I've been through a lot of shit this this year, just struggling with finding a job. So I'm definitely glad that I parted with those Marvel Legends figures because, hey, I was able to afford rent.
And yeah, you always need to take care of yourself before
Oh
you know,
yeah.
anything else.
Oh yeah. So while I do still collect Marvel Legends figures, it has to be. I don't know. It has to be like like certain characters or a certain team.
You're very picky on which ones are which.
Pretty much. Now, if it's anything,
Exactly.
if it's anything Spider-Man, like I'm like, oh hey, right to the Spider-Verse shelf.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Bees, because I'm in the same boat with Marvel Legends.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, just collecting Marvel Legends just wasn't quite as fun or as exciting as it used to be. Now, I mean, I still get some excitement and enjoyment out of it, but like I'm just basically because I'm just satisfied with like not like just I guess like collecting on a smaller scale, if that makes sense. But I'm done. Anyway, don't want to.
All right. So, Brace, do you have anything to say, or do you need time to think about it?
I mean, I kind of half understand the question because I kind of missed the explanation at the beginning.
Basically, collector rut as an explanation is when you have moments within your own collecting history where either collecting wasn't fun or you were genuinely in a place where you just couldn't do it anymore, or you sold a bunch of stuff off because it no longer appealed to you. That whole entire ordeal where you were like basically collector rut is where a lot of collecting habits change. Like big example with Bees here, he mentioned how over time he just wasn't interested in a lot of those Marvel Legends anymore, and because of that, he put about half of them into a bin and he sold them. And now he's a lot happier with his collection.
And yeah, I do agree with the Marvel Legends part. I'm in the exact same boat with that one. It has also arrived with me with the Star Wars collecting, because Star Wars was the first thing I got into as a kid before Transformers, Lego, whatever else. And so I'm always going to collect something Star Wars no matter what. But when I was younger, I used to collect like the small 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures, the standard ones. But over time, around like I want to say 2012, 2013, I stopped collecting them because Hasbro started making the quality on them worse. Like they went from having like posable heads, their wrists could move, they had waist swivels and bendable knees and all that. And then for some reason, they probably got new management in or something happened, but in like 2012, 2013, the figures started going back to having really static articulation. The details were getting worse and like they were a lot more simplified. And so I stopped collecting them. And then a couple years later, I found out about the Black Series and how they're all superposable and super detailed, and they remind me of just larger versions of the figures that I used to collect. But then I ended up kind of regretting it because then they came out with the vintage collection not long after that. And but by the time vintage collection came out, I was already so deep in the Black Series that I couldn't really go back to the 3 3/4 inch.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where you're going with that.
And to be honest, part of me still considers going back to the 3 3/4 inch because the biggest positive they have is that they have vehicles, where Black Series are a lot harder to get vehicles for. But that also being said, I also am worried to go back to vintage collection because it might be an even bigger financial hole than Black Series are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I like collecting Star Wars, but like my brain cannot decide which one because logic tells me to stick with Black Series because I already have so many of them now since I gave up vintage collection, and they're cheaper because I don't buy every single one. I pick and choose, where vintage collection, because they're cheaper, I'd be willing to buy more figures and vehicles and play sets and who knows what else, what kind of rabbit hole that would be. And that's kind of the collector rut that I keep running in circles around is Star Wars, where Transformers and a lot of the other ones, and again, like B's already kind of summed up my thoughts on Marvel Legends. I'm like the exact same with that, but like everything else I'm pretty satisfied with, but it's the Black Series that I keep on going in circles over and over again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Savage, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, not really. I pretty much already said my piece on it.
Okay. So then here's something that I'm going to say, which is a rut that I really ended up having to deal with. And it actually has nothing to do with Transformers or even any of the other like major things that I collect. Because as everybody knows, I have damn near everything that was released for NECA's Gargoyles line. So I'm very much in on that line. Yes, Brooks. Wait.
Bees is trying to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick remark or comment about what Bricksmith was saying about Star Wars figures. Yeah, I know exactly what he was talking about. I guess it was like at the tail end of the 3.75-inch Star Wars figures, like being released. That yeah, like they start making them be articulated. I had a few of the figures and I loved them because like they're small, they had decent detail and a really good articulation, and then they just had very limited articulation at one point. I'm like, oh shoot. Then they did the Black Series, and then that was a rabbit hole I eventually went down. I mean, I didn't like go down too deep into it. I just right now just focus on like basically building a Mandalorian army primarily.
Oh, and that was also the other thing I forgot to mention. If I went back to Vintage Collection as well, I would have to sell off all my Black Series, and I would have to re-buy the same characters in Vintage Collection. I would have to restart the whole... Because there are a lot of characters I have in Black Series that I don't have in Vintage Collection.
Yeah, nah, that... So, with that stated, I really went in on the NECA Gargoyles, but right now, if anybody has actually seen how my displays look right now, the only things that are currently out right now are the Transformers. Those are the only things I have on full display. Those are the only things that I have adamantly out and shown. And the rut here is less a case of I just don't feel the need to display the other stuff. The rut is more a case of I don't know what to do with any of it. Now, another rut is, brace yourselves for this because this is going to come eventually, Power Rangers Lightning Collection. That one is a combination of a multitude of different things. Mainly me being upset with Hasbro, but also the driving force of I needed to pay rent. So at the end of the day, I wound up completely and utterly selling off all of my Power Rangers Lightning collections, Zords and all. And like that's also keeping in mind, I went ham on getting the Galaxy Glider cycles for the In-Space Rangers because the Lightning Collection figures actually scaled with those perfectly. I sank so much money into those only to find out I was never going to be able to complete the collection that I had because I desperately wanted to see that line through all the way to where I could be satisfied and then bow out. Like as soon as the teams I wanted were complete, I could bow out and move on. And I wasn't given that opportunity. So at that point, I looked at it from the standpoint of Do I continue to buy these toys, or do I just sell them and don't look back? Ultimately, I sold them because I wasn't about to keep a bunch of toys that I no longer wanted. So, with that stated, the gargoyles I really, really love, and I want to put those out on display because they're absolutely gorgeous. But the problem with them is their wings. I want to display them with their wings fully intact. I can't do that because of how big the wings are. And of course, arguably the only collection that size-wise rivals my Transformers, my Gundam Model Kit collection, which is your fault. But no, like, jokes aside, my biggest rut is the fact that I genuinely have more than what I can display, to a point where I kind of get a little sick of constantly looking at Transformers, because my Transformers figures are the only things that are prominently on display. Now, one thing my wife did definitely suggest to me was once every so often pull the Transformers down and put the other stuff up and let those kind of take the spotlight for a little while, just to see if I still feel the same way about them that I did before. I'm contemplating it, but I'm still not sure if I'm going to commit to that, if that makes any sense. And yeah, I guess right now my biggest rut is really kind of knowing where to go next. Because one of the biggest things that is going to happen one day, if not today, then definitely sometime in the future, is we're finally going to get a fully complete set of G1 characters throughout all 4 years. It's going to happen at some point. Whether or not we're actually going to be able to, see it actually happen, that's up in the air. But I mean, when that day comes, my main display will never, ever see a new addition added to it, because at that point, I'll finally have them all. I'll have everything I wanted. So at the end of the day, my biggest rut is the fact that I have so many display ideas and so many display options that I burn myself out before I even get a chance to execute any of it. And that's basically where I stand with Collector Rut overall as a whole.
And I
Anybody
can say
else
those
want-
gargoyle toys are beautiful. I've seen them in person.
Yeah, they are absolutely gorgeous figures, and it pains me to know that they're literally sitting in a closet directly to my right. Like, they're all sitting there. I want to yank them out so I can put them up on display, but I friggin' can't. And it's driving me nuts. So with that stated, we got 6 minutes. Would anybody else like to possibly bring something up for the topic? Because if not, then we'll go ahead and call it early.
I do have one.
Go on. You have 5 minutes.
Bees raised his hand first, though.
Well, Bees, go. 5 minutes.
Okay, I just wanted to write in reference to Lightning Collection. Yeah, I guess because we didn't hear a whole lot from Hasbro in terms of Lightning Collection or updates. Because usually we would get leaks, leak listings or rumors about what's coming out. But at one point of just nothing, and yeah, and then eventually I was wondering to myself, what's going on with Lightning Collection? Is it canceled? And then, lo and behold, it eventually got canceled. So I still do have a good portion of my Lightning Collection figures. Just the problem is there's so many incomplete teams and so many like foot soldiers and villains or whatever from said incomplete teams that I ended up gathering all those and selling them off because I like, what's the point of keeping them? What's the point? Like, and what's the, just what's the point of keeping them? They just look so out of place. Like, Lightspeed Rescue Blue is literally the only representation of his team. Like what the heck? Well, what did he like just show up at the wrong community center class? Like, oh, I thought this was cooking. Like what the heck? What the heck, Hasbro? Yes, BC.
Let Bricks talk at some point, please.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. So yeah, let me tell you, it was a long, tedious process going through all those hands, weapons, accessories, effects, and everything. Yeah, it's. Whew, let me tell you.
At the store that I work at, I've had to sell some Lightning Collection figures, and it is a pain to go through some of the accessories because I can't tell what accessories will go with some.
Yeah, whenever I sold them to Entertain Mart in my area, I went through the trouble of like figuring out whose hands went with who, and I put them all in their individual Ziploc baggies.
Yeah.
So, and as a result of and like another thing in general, one thing that one thing I used to enjoy about collecting is the hunt, going out to the store and finding a figure in the wild, but because just poor distribution or like, I don't know, you're just better off pre-ordering. Just the thrill of the hunt is just like not there anymore. Like if I go to the store and I happen to find the figure that I pre-ordered, it hasn't arrived yet, and it's in the store, boom, I'll grab it.
I know exactly what you mean. I had to change my hunting strategies as well with toy hunting. The thing I was going to bring up really quick.
You're good. I'm done now. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just trying to transition it really cleverly. Something that was kind of brought to my attention like recently. I kind of have done this here and there, but it wasn't really as big of a project until just now. But part of me is a little mad that sometimes I'll buy something and then I'll not have it for what feels like not very long. And it turns out I want or feel the need to replace it like immediately. To give an example, I bought the the original 2019 Siege Megatron, and then they literally came out with like 5 different other versions later, and some of them had like shiny metallic paint, and I loved how the metallic paint looked over just the plain gray with the battle damage. And so I felt the need to get rid of that one and get the shiny one, but those ones were not that big of an issue for me. The one that became a big issue is I finally tracked down Combiner Wars Devastator like earlier last year, and now I'm already feeling the need to replace him because of the new Studio Series 86 one.
On that note, I have the Unite Warriors version of Devastator back there, and now that we're going to be getting a Studio Series Devastator, I'm wondering to myself, which one's going to end up ultimately better? Which one am I going to end up keeping?
1 minute.
Keep both? Will I sell one?
Long story short, the Combiner Wars Devastator has the size and just, it has the size on its side, where the new one has screen accurate scaling or whatnot, and it has better engineering, and just it's supposed to be more posable than the Combiner Wars one is. But again, Combiner Wars has size over anything else.
30 seconds.
Yeah, that's it for me. I just don't like that my collection has now started to become a revolving door, especially with larger items like that one in particular.
Yeah, consistent upgrading does indeed have a tendency to really taint a collecting habit as a whole, and it forces
Plus,
you to
you
really
know, some
change
people
how you
also
do
had
it.
issues with it when they were going from Earthrise Prime
Five,
to 86
4,
Prime.
3,
You know?
2, 1.
Blast
We're done.
off.
That 86 Prime definitely made some Earthrise Primes obsolete.
Yeah, it did very quickly. But yeah, there we go. But
Yeah.
of course,
BBS,
BBS,
BBS, BBS, BBS.
I turned on my camera for that.
We gotta be join us.
Why did you die?
Because I'm fucking bored.
Killing yourself is what you do to entertain yourself?
It's so interesting. Well, Bricksmith, you're not the only person to be getting Studio Series 86 Devastator. Well, I mean, yeah, a good portion of us are.
I've already
I'm
Well,
not.
okay, I
pre-ordered
don't know
the
about
first two.
him, but to
don't
get
know.
me, yeah, no, I'm definitely getting 86 Devastator.
That being said, though, I do have a friend who is really interested in taking my Combiner Wars Devastator off my hands.
I mean, hey, I have other means. Basically, here's my overall philosophy when it comes to utilizing pre-orders in the collector space. If it's a character that you know for a fact that eventually you're going to find it in the wild, don't bother with a pre-order because guaranteed you're going to find it. Howsoever, characters who will disappear the moment they're spotted, they are the ones you slap a pre-order on and you do not risk it. For instance, when it came to Commander Class Magmatron, I could have waited. I love Magmatron to death, so I didn't. But in that same regard, I found him in the wild multiple times over. So he definitely falls in the whole. He definitely falls in the whole. Just give it a while. You'll find him in stores. However, same size class, 86 Prime. I have yet to see him in the wild. So yeah, I'm definitely glad I kept the pre-order on him.
I mean, there's times where I'll there's been times where I think there's a figure that's going to be really common to find. Turns out it's not. Like, I didn't pre-order the Bumblebee movie Voyager class Thundercracker because I thought, oh, it's just a Seeker repaint. I guarantee he's going to be everywhere. No, I've never seen him in store once.
Yeah, you're probably kicking yourself after that one.
And and now he's going for $10 more, like, everywhere. And then all of a sudden Skywarp is everywhere. I thought Skywarp was, I was like, if Thundercracker was hard, Skywarp will be hard to find. No, he's everywhere.
He's also not the right freaking colors, but whatever.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, that is also the other problem, because I thought the same thing about other figures before in the past and made that mistake, and I'm just kicking myself because I did it again. And it sucks because Thundercracker is my favorite of the Seekers.
Yeah, no, I can more than understand the frustration there. Anyways, so with that stated, I think I know that feeling, especially concerning piece of Common Rider collection.
Maybe it's just being very vague. Why are you being very vague?
Yeah, you're being very vague, my boy. Very vague, my boy. Yeah.
Concerning piece.
With that stated, I hope you guys are ready. We waited a long time for this. Let's talk some TF1. So we're not going to go into like a full-blown discussion on the movie. We're just going to highlight specific things with it and really talk about the things we absolutely loved and maybe a few things that we really didn't care for.
I didn't see the movie.
We all know you're lying.
What do you? I never lie.
That's a lie with it is. Oh,
Right.
Back up. Huh? Throw a punch, not me, dick.
surprise attack!
Oh.
Why are you? Why are you squeaking? You're not even getting hit.
I see what you did there.
I know. He's being hit.
I have seen the movie, just to make that clear.
So with that
Seen the
said,
movie like
here
5
are some
times.
things that we all really loved about the movie and things we really generally just didn't care for. Which for me there really wasn't a whole lot that I genuinely did not care for.
Same.
So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Break you first.
Oh. Just start with anything?
Start with Start with something about the movie you genuinely loved.
I loved that the movie approached the whole Orion Pax and Megatron, like the fact that that was the story they chose for the movie, because it has been a story that only us as hardcore Transformers fans have really known. Not really the general public really knows that much about, the whole Transformers Prime aligned continuity origin story. So I thought it was a bold choice that that's what they went for, because again, it's making it available to both general audiences while also like kind of, patting us, the long-term fans, on the back, like, hey, remember this? And then, and I feel like they interpreted it pretty well down to a T. The only thing they missed, like, if they wanted to be like as accurate as possible, was the whole Megatron being a gladiator. But I understand why it wasn't in the movie, because they needed D16 and Orion Pax to be with each other every step of the way and show how they eventually split off as the movie progresses. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a necessary sacrifice. As the saying goes, without sacrifice there can be no victory.
No sacrifice, no victory.
So yeah, so like that's some. I feel like my favorite part of the film was that just the fact that they chose to do the aligned continuity, like Optimus and Megatron, like origin story of just them being friends and then they turn into enemies later. And again, I feel like they interpreted it pretty well through, everything they had at their disposal, which I'm sure you guys will, talk about.
You gonna talk about a bad, or are we just gonna move on?
If we're gonna, I thought we were gonna all talk about good first and then get into bad.
Oh, yeah, no, let's do that. So then, Bees, go ahead. Something with TF1 that you absolutely adored.
I just love, I adored a lot of nods and references to other franchises and a lot of very subtle things that you wouldn't notice unless you were paying close attention. Like D16, his eye color started out at a very orangey yellow.
They started out more of an orange, then kind of turned, or they started off more of a yellow, then they kind of turned into more of an orange, and then right at the end, they just went full blown red.
Exactly. In fact, before they went full blown red, you could see a little bit of red, in some parts of his eyes. It's so that's basically the Transformers equivalent of Sith eyes. And yeah, and then like there's all these like other characters that they've referenced, like that are like that are supporting characters or background characters, or are like mentioned. And yeah, some of these characters' designs are basically definitely very much inspired by their namesakes, from let's say the G1 cartoon or G2 toys or what have you. Clearly, the people behind this movie like have either done their homework or have been longtime fans. And one thing that I actually really like is that Chris Hemsworth, a lot of people were like, "Oh no, Optimus Prime is Thor, or Thor is Optimus Prime now." I'm just like, hey, I'm willing to give him a fair chance. I feel like, Chris Hemsworth was able to do what he was able to in portraying Orion Pax, but as the movie progressed, you can definitely tell that some of Peter Cullen's teaching, like instructing on how to be Optimus Prime, was starting to come through.
Yes.
The way he would just some line deliveries, his word choice and diction. Yeah, like when he was rallying up the miners, that was when he was finally starting to sound like Optimus Prime. And just it's like after he became Optimus Prime, he just started speaking more like how Peter Cullen speaks as when voicing Optimus Prime.
It started to feel a lot more like Optimus Prime as the movie progressed.
Exactly. And like one thing I've noticed is that like everyone who like if you like I don't know if anyone, I'm sure a lot of us have noticed this, but the miners, anyone who basically anyone who had a very low ranking position in the hierarchy, just the lowest of the lowest in the pyramid, which was typically the cogless ones. They're basically they had really they had a lot of cosmetic damage, chip paint scratches and all that. But when Orion Pax, D16, B127, and Alita 1 went from being without cogs to having cogs, their finish is like all shiny and new looking. Yes, BC.
Can Savage speak now?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say that it hasn't been brought up yet. So he's good. He can go ahead.
I'm alright. I'm just waiting for my turn. Oh, it's my turn now. Okay.
It's your turn now.
By the way, Savage, it's your turn now, Savage. By the way, ow!
I don't need to see to hit you.
Wake up.
Hey, Savage, it's your turn. By the way.
Anyway, guys, fuck Christ. One of my favorite things about the whole entire movie is the references and cameos. Because, dude, we can see Ironhide as many times as we can. Jazz, RC. But how many times are we going to see Sunstreaker finally get to the big screen?
Prowl
also. But still, we've seen Prowl in multiple shows. When was the last time we actually physically saw Sunstreaker on a screen? That wasn't a video game.
1986.
There's also Blue Streak, and just recently during one of my rewatches, I spotted Smokescreen.
I have a better question. When was the last time we saw Red Alert on the big screen?
That is a good point.
Yeah.
And he was there too. I saw him. So it's the fact that we're getting all these characters from like G1 and more popping up in that show or in this movie. I don't know about you guys, but to me, for very obscure characters getting such screen times, that's a big fucking deal. It's like hearing the rumors for Sunstreaker being that in the Reactivate game that has yet to appear in broad daylight. That sounds like a big deal to me, if anything. And the references, of course, friggin'. At least the very beginning of it was full of obvious references.
Oh yeah.
The more blatantly obvious one I can think of off the top of my head right now is, face it, Orion, you don't got the touch, you don't got the power.
You don't have the touch or the power.
They knew where they were going with that.
They knew exactly what they were doing with that. That was cheeky, and I loved it.
Exactly.
All right, you got anything else?
That's about it.
As much as I want to give them props for having Optimus get a decent fight scene since the forest battle at the end of the movie, I have to say my favorite thing about the movie was the portrayal of Megatron.
Yeah. No, that was simply
How he's
I agree.
How he started from a by-the-book miner to basically becoming the tyrannical leader of the Decepticons was just...
It was brilliance. It was absolute brilliance.
And the emotion the actor put into the role as the character changed. Oh, holy hell in a handbasket. That was nice.
Oh, yeah.
And most of the effect that we heard in the movie was done by him himself.
We all severely underestimated Brian Tyree Henry. We all thought for sure this was going to be one of the worst Megatron performances we were ever going to hear.
I think that first trailer made us think that about the whole movie.
And then we get it all finally, and like I'm sitting there like, you done?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because what really, to sum that part up, what really sold it to me and how he made Megatron his role was when he finally shouted and declared himself Megatron. That's like, he's got my approval there.
Yeah. Days you.
He is Megatron, yeah.
Yeah. You're definitely Megatron. I don't deny it anymore. You are. Good boy.
That, and he's the reason why Starscream now sounds like a whiny bitch.
Now it is Bean's turn.
It was trash because the bean was not in it.
You're not a dog. Get out of this house. The bitch looks like a dog. What the hell?
Savage probably doesn't mind that. He's glad that he's not the one getting kicked for once.
No.
anyways, my turn. So, first things first. I absolutely love the fact that the Cybertronian High Guard were the Decepticons. Like, I absolutely adored that. The fact that the Cybertronian High Guard becoming the Decepticons, it really helps sell the idea that throughout every interpretation of the war, the Decepticons, from a combat standpoint, always had the upper hand. They actually give you a solid reason as to why that was. They were already battle-hardened by then. They already knew what they were doing. So, just the whole idea of that is the fact that Megatron is already inheriting an army that he doesn't even have to make sure is well-trained. Fucking A+.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing I absolutely loved, Bees brought it up, the fact that you could see D16's descent into becoming Megatron. And like it started with the eyes. They started off as the yellow, then as time went on, we see the eyes turn orange, and then the final push, they turn red. But for those of us who didn't know, there's a Gundam reference in it that has to do with the red eyes. The red eyes, the way it ray traces, where every single time he moves, whenever he would move his head, there'd be like a little beam in his eyes. Barbatos Lupus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I'm actually not BSing anybody when I bring that up either. That was actually mentioned by the animators themselves. The Hades exam, yes. So that, the fact that they referenced Gundam with his eyes, like just A+. The forest battle, or not the forest, the final fight giving you the forest battle vibes. Oh my god. Like that is a fight scene that plays in my head rent free.
And best part, nobody had to die.
Exactly.
The scene that lives rent free in my head is just the entirety of Megatron versus Sentinel versus Optimus, and then the whole sequence where Optimus is in the core and Megatron claims Megatron is a spark.
Yeah, that whole scene, getting to watch Sentinel get his fucking due, because oh my.
And
God,
again,
I hated his guts.
the number one thing I wanted out of this movie, like before going in, number one thing I wanted them to accomplish was how Prime was given the Matrix, because many series have approached him getting the Matrix before, and my favorite interpretation is always that it is Primus who kind of chooses him to be worthy, and I'm just glad that that is the route that they ended up taking.
So with that stated, my absolute favorite moment in this movie is summed up in one singular line, and it is not "I am Megatron." Although I will admit, I do agree with him. The moment he screamed that, I'm sitting in the theater like,
He earned that
yeah,
role there.
that's you. That's you. You Megatron. That's right. But for me, the one line that really just sealed it, this was the best performance I've seen out of Megatron in a long time.
Badassatron.
I'm done saving you. Just, you could feel the heartbreak in that. Like, it's something that we all knew was going to happen. We all knew what was happening. And they still managed to make it a heart-wrenching moment where he just lets Orion drop into the pit. And obviously, he came back and he paid that back in blood. Because he beat the shit out of him after that. But, overall, if I was forced to give this movie a rating, I'm sorry, you can't convince me otherwise. This is a BC Seal level movie. It's just fan-fucking-tastic. So with that stated, let's go into the things that we genuinely just didn't like, and I feel like we're all going to say the same thing. Bricks, you first.
So I'm going to go with something that's a little less obvious, but something I didn't think about till later, like after watching it for the third time in the movie theater. I personally hate the biggest sin against this movie, and especially for its success. I hate that this film put the best end credit scene at the very, very end. Because when I went to go see this movie the first time, the second time, and the third time, when they had the post-credit scene where Bumblebee's like, "Hey guys, look, I have knife hands," and yada yada yada. As soon as that scene ended, everyone left. And it was only me and my friends left to watch the very, very end one, which is one of the best scenes in the entire movie. And so the biggest sin the film committed is that they didn't make that the first end credit scene and make the Bumblebee one the last one. Because we really needed to drive the point into the ground that this is Megatron, there's the potential of a second movie, and it already starts building up expectations for people.
Wait. So there was a after credit? Okay.
Yeah, did you miss it, Savage?
I may have not thought that at all for some reason.
See, exactly my point. That just plays into my point. Not a lot of people knew there was a very end credit scene at the end of after all the credits went.
I knew, like, I want to say I went online and looked up if it had an end credit scene. So I sat in the theater was sitting through the credits, and I'm still pissed off about this, no pun intended, because I wanted to watch the post-credit scene, but my bladder was like, no. So I, even after like running to the bathroom to piss like a racehorse, I swear my bladder gets so full at the most inopportune moments, especially in the movie theater. So I come back and I catch the tail at like literally the last 2 seconds of the freaking post-credit scene.
But yeah, it's like, in my opinion, that was probably the biggest disappointment with the film, is that they decided to put that at the very end when most general audiences, and heck, as shown, even some fans didn't even realize it was even there. So, like, in my opinion, it really should have been the first end credit scene that anyone saw, instead of it being some stupid joke that, has been already run into the ground throughout the entirety of the movie.
Exactly. And that's another. Wait, it's not my turn yet.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. But anyway, because I wanted to talk about that one because I already know what everyone else is going to talk about, so that's why I kind of picked that one in particular.
B0.
Okay, first and foremost, the whole Betatron thing got old pretty quick. Like,
it was funny the first time, but like only the first time.
For me, it was like the first 2 times, but after that, I was just like, why does he think he's on Family Guy, where they can repeat the same joke over and over and over and over and over and over, and it somehow funny? It does. I don't know how it works with Family Guy with other people. It doesn't work with me. But what made Bumblebee or the people who wrote the script think that would be funny? Because like the deep Soundwave-esque voice that he used, it was funny. It was for funny added effect. But then he kept overusing that same joke. And it got to the point where I was like, just shut up. Just go get your voice box ripped out. And
2007. Why would they not let him talk? 2024. See, I think Megatron had a point.
Maybe that's what really happened. Maybe Bumblebee was trash talking Megatron, just like how Johnny Storm was. At this point, I think enough people have watched Deadpool and Wolverine. So if you haven't, then just okay. So if you haven't, avert thine eyes and or ears. So at this point, I feel like it's probably because Bumblebee was trash talking Megatron like Johnny Storm did to Cassandra Nova, and then like instead of ripping his skin off, he ripped out his voice box. You're good.
So you're good? Okay.
So So yeah, like it. That was one of my other. That was my primary criticism, and then
So wait, so you weren't done?
I'm trying to think. What else. I've only seen the movie in theaters once, and I never got a chance to watch it again. So that's honestly the only thing that I can think of that I can contribute to this. So
the details are a little fuzzy.
yeah, just a little bit.
Got you.
Savage.
I'll say it. Why didn't Soundwave ever use the Decepticons? Where were they? Where was Rumble? Where was Ravage? Where was Laserbeak? They didn't exist.
They weren't in the budget.
They were in the oh, hell no!
Actually, I actually thought about this. Part of me is wondering if they didn't want to have them be cassettes because they couldn't come up with a good way to establish cassettes on Cybertron.
Well, here's a thought I have mine about that. Notice how smaller Soundwave's body is currently for this movie. I'm thinking if we do get a sequel, they're going to appear then, and Soundwave is going to look a whole lot different. Because of the fact Shockwave is going to experiment on them all.
Yes. Yes, that's a solid theory.
Because think about it. Soundwave in this movie looks so small in comparison. We know he's a big, blocky character. Like I'm not expecting him to be, ginormous as Metroplex. But, like, dude has feet and is able to fight. Shut the fuck up. It's just, I'm surprised he didn't have Rumble at all, or to the very least, Laserbeak of all creatures. We all know he likes the Laserbeak the most. So no, it's surprising the fact that we never saw any of them as robots to begin with. In my opinion. So
yeah, no, that was a little disappointing, but I can also kind of understand, especially from B's little comment there.
They were in the budget.
They didn't fit in the budget. Sorry.
But yeah, if we do manage to get a second one, it's either we're going to be seeing the aftermath of them getting upgraded into much better looking characters of what they're supposed to look like. Like for all we know, we all know Megatron's going to need to get repaired after that fucking battle with Optimus, so he's going to end up having his fusion cannon look a whole lot different, which is probably going to turn into the iconic one, or similarly to the iconic one. I'm done.
You're done? Okay.
I'm going to be short and simple with that. Why give Alpha trying a badass fight and then get his ass whooped by Arachnid?
Why'd you have to steal mine?
I'm sorry, but if he was at his full power, he would have ripped her ass to shreds. And not in the fun way.
Hey, yo.
Please tell me I'm not the only one who thought that was somewhat pointless to show.
Yeah.
I feel like he wants to punch me now, so I'm going to walk away.
So wait, so it's my turn?
Yeah.
So basically, I have a few things I want to say that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and I'm gonna preface it by saying this. My biggest issue, I'm just gonna get out of the way right now. My biggest issue was B127. I had a lot of high hopes for him because I thought that Badassatron thing was literally going to be like that one time, and the rest of the movie he was actually going to show actually decent levels of intelligence and actually start showing that he can make for a really good scout. And they just threw all that potential out for the sake of a gag, and that aggravated me. So yeah, that's my biggest beef. Is B127 is potential that was completely and utterly wasted. But also, like Rob said, I still cannot believe, like, you're trying to tell me that one of the 13, whether he was heavily damaged or not, wasn't going to be able to take on Arachnid. Yet, Alita whipped her ass. Like, no, you're yanking my chain there. It's literally a moment where the writers realized they made him too powerful, so they had to break a rule to take him down. And just to me, that's a cop out. They knew realistically Alpha Trion would have had her ass beaten. But yeah, it's stupid. It's really stupid. Like, honestly, his capture, I feel I would have been able to stomach it a little bit more if we actually got to see a real fight between them. And the fact that we didn't, nah, I'm not buying this. Another major issue that I had. Like, let this go to show how good this movie was. I literally have to struggle just to think of something that I really genuinely didn't like. Because, I mean, I'll definitely agree the fact that the post-credit scene being Decepticons Rise Up, that should have been the first one to play. I definitely do agree with that. That would have helped sell this so much harder. Although, fun fact, I will say this before I move on. Throughout the entirety of the movie, the Decepticon insignia is the only insignia we see in the entirety of the movie. We don't see anything else.
Yeah, you're right.
Another thing, Sentinel, fuck him. Like,
No matter what,
like I'm genuinely considering doing a scrap battle where it's all the Sentinels in a battle royale just to watch how badly TF1 gets torn to shreds.
I think if we're going to say that guard by every iteration of Sentinel Prime, I think the IDW one's going to win.
We'll see.
Either that or Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, honestly, for me personally, it would be down to those two, but that's besides the point. We'll get into that at a later date. It will not be next week's battle. That much I can assure you. Like, okay, I will at least spoil this much right now. Next week's scrap battle is Transformers related again. So just trust me on this.
We now
I still can't believe it's actually Megatronus' face. Yeah. Add that to one of the things I absolutely loved about the movie. The fact that Megatron based his symbol off of his idol space.
So here's the thought then, just to interject with that. I doubt he might make a cameo, but I doubt he'll make a full appearance. If Tarn were to show up in a sequel or maybe like a later on movie with this line that we're hopefully going to be seeing, is he going to be getting inspiration from Megatron, who saw inspiration from Megatronus, or is Tarn getting inspiration from Megatronus himself? Because
I hope they go more the IDW route, where he becomes so obsessed with Megatron that he wears the mask that is the Decepticon insignia, and it just kind of happens to relate to the fact that Megatron based the symbol off of his idol's face. Like, they could do that.
Which would be
Whether
really
they will
cool
or
if
not is up in the air.
Glitch showed up as a background character.
what was that?
It'd be really cool if Glitch showed up as a background character.
Yeah. So what's one other thing that I genuinely didn't like? This is one that I would argue bugs me way more than B-127. And it's the fact that the 13 primes were literally only served as cannon fodder. You're
And
telling
on
me
top of that-
you're telling me that these Transformer deities, these guys that are supposed to be these ridiculously powerful Cybertronians, at the end of the day, just die easily. Like, nah, I'm not buying that. Nah.
And on top of that, the Quintessons were kind of downplayed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even though in the beginning of the
Quintesson-
movie,
the
they kept building
Quintessons are
them up as being these
downplayed.
big villains.
They really put the villain focus on Sentinel, and I don't like Sentinel. I'm tired of Sentinel. Give us someone else, please.
Well, yeah, they're definitely going to give us someone else because he died.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, couldn't we just get somebody else to fill that spot? Seriously, we couldn't get anybody else.
You know what would have been an interesting person to put in his place?
Jaxus.
I was going to say Straxus.
Ooh. Oh my god, that would have sold it so much harder.
Governor Strax is selling out. Oh yeah.
Imagine Straxus getting ripped in half by Megatron.
I would have loved that scene that much more because of that. My thing was where were the judges? You mean to tell me we had the 5-face terrors, but we don't get to see the actual 5 faces? I don't think that's what they were. I think these versions of the Quintessons are just like the foot soldiers.
With soldiers and warrior.
And like the foot soldiers and the warriors. I think the actual proper 5-face Quintessons they're saving for like a sequel.
To be honest, the Quintesson judges themselves are too into themselves that they can't even be bothered to go to Cybertron to get Energon. They are the type of characters that would send cronies to do it.
Which I mean, if that's how they're going to be portrayed, it's working canonically well so far. So,
but yeah,
Plus-
honestly, at the end of the day, though, my biggest negatives are, at the end of the day, they're mainly just nitpicks. Because, like I said, do I love the fact that Sentinel was written very well? Yes, absolutely. He is a villain you are meant to hate. I like the fact that they made him hateable. I'm just tired of it always being Sentinel.
And John Hamm also played him up really well with the voice acting.
Yes, John Hamm did a very good job selling that character. But at the end of the day, my main beef with it is, can we please get a Sentinel that just wanted to be a good dude? But due to due to the situation he was put in, he had no choice but to make very, very shitty decisions. Like, can we please get a version of Sentinel that meant well? And I think the closest we got to that was IDW 2.0.
animated the Bay versus already did that.
Don't even try to add animated into that. We all know he's a fucking egomaniac.
He's a douchebag.
He's a fucking douchebag, and you know it. He does not mean well. He only means well for himself. You fucking know it.
All that ego is in his chin.
Bayverse, we could definitely argue that he meant well, but at the same time, look at how quickly he was to turn on everybody else as well. I'm talking, I need a Sentinel that made a decision that didn't have to result to being a traitor. I want a version of Sentinel where from the get-go he was a genuinely on spot, but due to circumstances, he ended up having to do some shady shit.
Like the IDW one.
Kind of like the IDW one, yes. But I would want this version of Sentinel to just feel guilty for doing it in the first place. Not all these other versions where it's painfully clear they don't care. They're the ones in charge, so therefore they're going to do whatever the fuck they please.
You know what would be funny? Since we're still getting the live action reboot of the series still going, I hope that's still going. Watch Sentinel be included in the third one. He go to raise his gun at Optimus, and then just turn and shoot the stuff. I'm like, what? You thought I was going to shoot you? Why would I do such a thing?
I would scream for fucking joy if that actually happens. I'd be sitting like, yes, finally, he's not a dickhead.
Because I like it for the comedic effect of like they know what they're referencing there. They're referencing all the fucking times Sentinel was like wanting to shoot a fucking Autobot on the back of the head, but no, he was like, all right, I'll just shoot the Decepticon instead.
Oh, you thought I was going to shoot you? Nah.
I thought about it, but not really. Also, one of if I may add in like two more little things I've noticed from the Transformers 1 movie, even on only seeing it the one time.
Go on.
One thing, where was Ultra Magnus?
See, for a split second, I thought I saw the white cat version of him. For a split second, I thought I did, but then when I rewatched it, I realized that was fucking Wheeljack's shoulder.
So yeah, no, we're missing Ultra Magnus, who's probably somewhere deep in the mine somewhere. And the one thing I thought was also slightly disappointing, we're all referencing like at least the mid to end part. You know what's been the most forgettable scene out of this entire thing? The scene that got them there in the first place, the fucking racing scene.
Well, yeah, the race was fun. It's just there just wasn't anything that was very quotable from it, to be honest.
I know, but it's just like,
When we get turns, I'm gonna kill you. I accept those terms.
Well, I mean, yeah, technically that is one.
also technically speaking, we now have a slur for Transformers.
Glitch.
Yeah. Hey, stop being a glitch. I'm not
You
being a
stop
glitch.
being a
You're
glitch.
being a glitch.
Which it's funny how that's what Tarn's Autobot name was.
Right.
Right.
No wonder he liked Megatron.
One, fuck you. And two, can we peep the fact that even though we don't physically see them, the Stunnicons are active in this fucking universe?
Yeah.
I
least, like-
screamed for fucking joy.
At least like Lightspeed was in like the top 5 of the thing before it ended. I thought I saw.
Which, by the way, why did Blur lose the race? His name was in the list. How did he lose?
Better question. Why did Chromia change designs midway through?
Actually, I actually did some digging on the whole Chromia situation. Supposedly, the Chromia that won the race was originally intended to be Mirage,
I knew it.
but because of his character in Rise of the Beasts, they changed it.
That's bullshit.
I know, it's a real... And again, it's even worse because you can see Cogless Chromia among the crowd of Cogless bots. So it's just... But now that means the one that's Cogless is no longer Chromia. That's just some lookalike that happens to look like her.
Oh, wow. We're talking about the Chromia in the Icon 5000? Yeah, we are, but we're not anymore because I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so that we can get into the meat and potatoes of the scrap battle for the night.
Actually, I did have one more comment to make. The biggest highlight of the movie that no one brought up. Brian Tyler cooked on the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite song, especially being, the resting place of the Primes.
Yeah, that's when you could really feel the Transformers Prime vibes. Because if memory serves me right, he did the score for that.
He did.
I won't deny it did. It was a little bit of a tearjerker for me and my friends. Because you have to think that old Transformers Prime theme is over a decade old.
Yeah, that hurts.
Why'd you say that?
Awful old.
So it was just pulling the heartstrings because it just felt like it was reminding us of our youth and whatnot of watching Transformers Prime, and that our entire world revolved around that.
The score for Rise of Optimus. My God, that song goes hard.
Optimus Prime, you
All
your
right.
sacrifice for the greater
Optimus.
good has proven you worthy in the eyes of Primus, and so he entrusts in you the future of Cybertron and
And
the matrix of leadership.
Yeah, because honestly, my favorite scene of the entire movie genuinely is Optimus versus Megatron, which I'm gonna end the discussion here with this. After watching this movie so many times, I can flat out confirm it finally. The axe that Prime uses at the end of the movie was originally Zeta's. The only difference is Zeta's axe was blue with an orange blade. Prime's axe is orange with a blue blade. That's the only difference. Otherwise,
geez.
word for word, design and everything, it's basically the same fucking weapon.
Ah! I'm not Sentinel! Back off! I'm not Sentinel!
He's the Fallen.
Ah! Back off!
Yep, me too. Hey,
Yeah,
Ink, in case you couldn't tell, yeah, here on the Scrapyard, we scrap with each other almost constantly.
Yeah, Ink, I keep telling him that. You know what happens every time I tell him to chill a little bit? It always gets me with a black eye. Watch. Hey, chill.
Did I consent to this? Okay, by the way, Savage.
Hi.
Dead.
You dead.
Dead.
You're dead. You're dead. Ugh.
Notice how when all of the insanity went down, Bees just hid.
Nah, I'm just putting my freshly recharged headlight back in my bike.
So now we can all gang up on bees.
No!
Who agrees? Raise your hand.
No!
3, 2, 1.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
The one time I chose not to strike and everybody just went at him. Sounds about accurate. I'm here for the entertainment. Well, hey, that's what we're here for too. All right. Enough jokes. Let's get into this, shall we? Batman
Orphan.
versus Iron Man. Let's do this.
Orphan versus Orphan. What? It's true.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna do it this time. Not at all. I'm gonna let tradition handle this. Dun, 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 dun,
Dead.
Who's the next victim?
dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I thought we were doing
I just sat down. I killed him with the power of the middle finger.
So you did.
My finger can transform. Guess which one?
You punch him, he made his screen glitch.
Okay, let's get on before.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this finally. All right. Let's do this.
All right.
All right.
Oh no.
So, Batman versus Iron Man. Let's go ahead and do this scrap battle And we're going to start at where we always do with endurance. Endurance, durability, whichever word you want to use. So, endurance-wise, this one I'm giving to... This is tough, because as much as I want to tie them out, realistically, between the two of them, who takes the worst beatings?
Batman.
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 Yeah, see, I want to say, I initially wanted to say Batman immediately, but then I really stopped to think about it, and it's like, yeah, he wore the Iron Man, Tony Stark, yeah, he's wearing metal suits all the time, so he really doesn't feel nearly as much of the impacts. He's still throwing hands with a lot of motherfuckers. He's still taking an ass whooping every so often. Like, for instance,
Not
with
as
Infinity
often as
War,
Batman.
he threw hands with Thanos, and he was barely holding his own.
Batman held his own against Darkseid,
Barely.
but he
Barely.
still did.
with one arm.
Barely. Just all I'm saying is one thing is for certain, I'm not gonna do this scrap battle. I'm not gonna gas up Batman. Just absolutely the fuck not, and you'll see why. Now, that being said, as far as endurance goes, I would feel a little bit more comfortable tying them out. But given I kind of got more of a unanimous Batman takes endurance, then I'll just go ahead and give it to Batman. However, one thing that I'm pretty sure we're all going to unanimously say, yeah, absolutely the fuck not on him, is speed. Bar none, Iron Man takes speed.
Oh yeah.
Like, the suits allow him to fly faster than sound. And if he's wearing any specific suits, he can fly faster than light. So, when it comes to speed overall, I'm definitely giving that to Iron Man. So that's 2 points down right there. We're blitzing right through this fucking battle at this point because honestly, I just want to get to the ending for this one. This is going to be interesting. That said, strength.
I mean, technically, it is sort of balanced because Batman, it is through his brute strength, where Tony, he is kind of supported by his suit. And so they kind of balance each other out in that aspect.
And under most cases, I would certainly agree with you. But thanks to that suit, Tony Stark is basically able to lift up and hold up a car. When the fuck are you going to see Batman doing that?
With his own mech, because Batman did the exact same thing with a mech.
You're not wrong. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. I'll give him that. He's not wrong. But just
In certain aspects, one will have.
Batman has fought guys that have thrown cars.
yeah, he's fought guys that have thrown cars. But then how about this? Strength, we'll tie it out. That fair? That fair for everybody?
That seems fair
Yeah.
because that's
Mhm.
it's like comparing the Hulkbuster to oh wait, technically no, we're not gonna that's no. I think it's more for the other category.
The Hulkbuster is that's a what do you call it?
That is a suit that's specifically made to fight the Hulk.
That's a support weapon, is what I was trying to get at. That's not his primary suit he wears at all times.
So that said, we basically blitzed through the main three, but where things really do start to get interesting is when we start talking weapons, armor, and abilities.
And battle intelligence.
Weapons and armor first. Battle intelligence is its own category. So, with that stated, weapons and armaments, I'm going to be real with you guys when I say I'm tying them out.
But does Iron Man have shark repellent? I didn't think so.
Only that.
I was
Only that.
I would-
fucking killed him.
I was honestly going to say Batman. I do have a good reason, and I think you know what my reason is going to be.
Go on.
Mechagodzilla.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Not you. Not you. Get the fuck out.
Get
Get the fuck out.
If we're counting all sorts of things,
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
motherfucker, it counts.
I will say though, when it comes to weaponry, there is one tool that I do think Iron Man and again, this is even early like Mach 3 suit Iron Man technology. Remember in Iron Man 1 when Iron Man takes his Mach 3 out for the first time and he's taken out a bunch of the 10 ring terrorists and like a bunch of them are holding hostages and his targeting computer was able to target only the terrorists and not any of the civilians, and he took all of them out with mini missiles.
Mini micro missiles, yeah.
Like
So,
just that piece of technology alone kind of puts him above. And again, that's early like Mach 3 suit technology, not even like later iterations of his suit.
Yeah, but we're also not just strictly doing on-screen feats.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that that's only his third suit of like 80 suits 80 plus that he's done.
So, weapons and armaments wise, again, I tie them out because for every gadget Batman has, Iron Man has a suit. For every different skill Batman has obtained, Tony Stark has developed a counter for it. Like across the board, Tony has more suits, but Batman has more gadgets. So while yes, Batman technically doesn't have nearly as many fancy suits he can wear, because realistically, the only other suit he has is the Hellbat suit. Between the two of them, they have an arsenal that cancels each other out. So weapons and armaments, I say at the top. But now, this is the part that'll either make the battle or break the battle, depending on what this specific stat, whoever it ends up going to. That being battle intelligence. And this is where shit gets fucking interesting. So, battle intelligence wise, like I stated, they both basically have a way of canceling each other out. Tony Stark has a suit for every possible scenario. He thinks ahead and he prepares a suit that would allow him to counter and fight back. But Batman is the king of prep time, where so long as he has enough time to prepare, when he steps onto the field, he already has your defeat planned out. And that's bearing in mind he is not just running around in a bat suit. Like, he's actually trying to find your every weakness and utilize it all against you by sitting here and actually doing the homework and the prep time. But at the same time, if I'm going to allow that for Batman, I got to allow it for Iron Man.
On top of that, too, Iron Man technically does, like, when it comes to, like, in the moment, like, quick thinking, like, you know, moments, when it comes to Iron Man, he relies heavily on what technology is at his disposal, where Batman relies solely on, like, his environment and, like, where he is in his environment. And, like, there's been times where Batman has kind of run out of tools from his tool belt, and yet he's still able to pull out a win against characters like Bane, Killer Croc, and stuff like that without the use of technology.
And
Iron Man has had
he did it
time-
by utilizing his environment to his advantage.
Yes, and there's times where Iron Man hasn't been able to overpower certain characters, even in moments like that, like in Civil War when even Cap still beat him out, even with his aim assist technology type stuff.
I feel like though in this instance, depending on whichever originality version you want to go with, the one thing that always sticks clear to me for Batman, I feel like it'll be for Batman, is because of the fact that, like last week when we talked about Leonardo versus Red Hood, Batman was also trained in the same style way of like a ninja, where he purposely waits in the shadows for his perfect chance to strike. Like Leonardo, he's waiting to see what his opponent will do, seeing his pattern, seeing if he'll slip up at some point, if he trips or some shit. He's waiting for his right moment to strike.
Exactly, but this is one of those very rare instances where the tech would render something like that very much useless, because Iron Man would have something installed in all of his suits that would allow him to track Batman's movements. Like, this is where things get genuinely, like I said, this gets genuinely interesting, because one thing you know what? I'm going to save this whole bit for when the scrap battle is done and when a winner for our group has been decided. We'll go into it from there. But there's a lot I want to say in this particular regard, because there's some things we got to talk about here once we're done. So with that stated, for battle intelligence, what's everybody's verdict?
I'm giving it to Batman.
Please.
Bees.
Okay, so he's in the bathroom. Can you at least tell us? Can you tell me who you side with for battle intelligence, so I can at least announce it here?
Batman.
Okay, he picked Batman. Savage, who do you pick? No, he's actually thinking about it. Do you want to let Rob go so that you have time to think?
Yeah, let him go. So that way, it's like,
Who do you side with? Or are you calling this a tie?
As much as I want to give a specific reasons why Batman would take it, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to tie this out, to be honest.
Rob, you're dead to me. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Rob.
You exist?
Anyways, so before I say my piece, Savage, do you have your decision?
honestly, tie, honestly, because it's like from playing all the, like the Arkham games, and also not really playing the Iron Man games because I've heard they're terrible. But every chance I play as Iron Man in a video game, it's like hard to fucking.
So
It's
you're
hard to
getting,
choose.
so you feel the safest bet here is to go tie. So with that said, let's do this. My turn for battle intelligence. At the end of the day, battle intelligence wise, I think it's safe to say it's a draw. And it's entirely due to the fact that these are two characters that are extremely intelligent in their own fields.
BC, you're dead to me. I'm just kidding. Ow!
Took care of it.
Thank you.
Anyway, continue.
So let's move on to final verdict. And for those who are new, specifically Ink, even though I'm pretty sure he's not watching anymore. For those who don't know, when we do final verdict, that's when we lead up to the actual fight. So, bricks.
Huh?
Final verdict.
Oh, final verdict. I'm going this is the mentality I'm kind of going through. I'm kind of picturing in my mind how would Batman translate taking on like I think Batman would look at Iron Man and be like, "Oh, I've dealt with Firefly. This guy seems kind of similar to that guy." And so he kind of applies some of his, him taking down Firefly, because Firefly is another character who knows how to fly, and Iron Man, knows how to fly. So it's not like Batman is unknown to taking on someone who has the advantage in the air. And then of course Iron Man is used to underestimating some who don't have powers, but then obviously still being able to hold his own against people like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and obviously plenty others in the comics as well. So to be honest, if I was going to give them a verdict, I would have to give it a tie.
Damn, Bricks usually actually picks someone. So the fact that he's trying this out, oh God.
Well, here's also the other thing. I'm also biased toward both characters, so it's hard to pick because I love both Iron Man and Batman pretty equally. So like bias is not even a problem because it doesn't matter.
Okay, so Bees, final verdict. Who?
Batman.
I'm not even surprised. Savage.
Savage, who is the final verdict? Oh.
Do it again. That was funny.
Okay, no good.
Riddle me this, Savage. Who wins?
If you stop talking for more than 5 seconds.
1, 2, 3. Oh. You meant silently.
Anyway, again, it's hard to fucking just sit down and be like, oh, totally this guy, because yeah, and then also, oh wait, this guy, because yeah, it's so fucking. There's a reason why one's the copycat of the other. Honestly, tie.
We got 2 ties.
Okay. I'm a Marvel fan more than DC. Normally, I'd go with Iron Man. Unfortunately, there's going to be a limit. For me personally, I think there's going to be a limit where Iron Man's suit and technology is going to run out. And I think Batman's going to take it not just on his skill set, his gadgets, everything his company makes. It's his sheer will, his training. The person he's going to want to rely towards at the end, the person inside the suit, not outside. If that makes sense.
So at the end of the day, you're going to side with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ink, if you're still watching, this is where the fight happens. Batman versus Iron Man. Scrap battle. Episode 7. Let's do this. Ding, ding, ding. they're going to be whatever. So, Tony Stark has had yet another night of nothing but drunken fun. He got into his suit and he just started flying around and doing God knows what. But he's not paying attention to anything he's doing, so he's crashing into a whole bunch of different things, causing problems. And then a specific signal goes out because of how much of a problem he's being. Given he's being such a problem, someone was called in to take care of him. This being the Dark Knight himself, the world's greatest detective, if you will. So, as Batman enters the scene, he basically already has Iron Man tracked, and he's pursuing him in the Batmobile. He is adamantly after him. When he finally gets close enough to him, he shoots an EMP thing out from the Batmobile to finally bring Iron Man to the ground. Tony hits the ground, and in his drunken state, he's like, "The hell is going on?" Batman flies out of the Batmobile and lands on Iron Man. Grabbing hold of the collar, and he picks him up. He gives him a warning. Go home. Tony's just sitting here like, listen, man, we don't got to do this. Not at all. Because let's face it, I'm pretty sure you don't want this fight. Batman just looking at him. You're right. You don't want this fight. So I'm going to tell you again. Go home. Tony being Tony. Repulses right to the face. But Batman saw it coming, so he backflips off. Iron Man starts slowly rising back up in the air. He taps with Batman. He starts flying around the city. Batman takes one of his little gas grenades, the smoke pellets, there we go. And he cracks them onto the helmet of Iron Man to set them off, completely allowing himself to get away. But Iron Man, he had a feeling he was going to do that. So he already had the suit swap his visor to thermal vision, where he's tracking Batman's energy, where he's basically tracking Batman's heat. Iron Man goes at him, only to get a batarang right to the face, completely taking out his thermal visor. Now all of a sudden, Tony's kind of stuck. He really doesn't have very many options here. The grapnel boost gets wrapped around his ankle, and he gets yanked back down to the ground. The moment he hits the ground, Batman cracks his knuckles, and his shock gloves activate, allowing him to go toe-to-toe with Iron Man physically. Tony throws a punch, but Batman, being a master of martial arts himself, automatically seeing multiple different ways that he can just completely disable Iron Man, and utilizing the shock gloves is what's allowing him to do some actually decent damage. But since Iron Man is no fool, he realizes very quickly the gloves are getting through his suit. If he wants to be able to survive this, he needs a different suit. So he ejects out of the suit he was already using, and he uses the shock absorbing suit. Because let's face it, it's fucking Iron Man. He probably already has one. He swaps over to the shock absorbent suit, and now Batman is forced to completely change his strategy on the fly. These two are duking it out, and Iron Man, let's face it, Iron Man is kind of getting the upper hand now. He's kind of kicking the shit out of him. But Batman, once again, Batman is no fool. He pulls out as many of his smoke pellets as he can, and he throws them all down, completely putting this entire part of the city in a cloud of smoke. So thick that not even Tony's current visor can really help him see through, which is perfect for Batman to make an escape. The goal was never to utilize the smoke pellets to immediately give Batman the advantage. It was strictly just so he could buy time for something else. When the smoke was too thick, Iron Man flies up, sees where Batman's going, and he just guns for him. But Batman just stopped with the cape and cowl just completely covering him, and he's just looking up at him, almost like he's taunting him. Iron Man flies right at him, and a deployment pod just completely smacks him out of the sky. Iron Man hits the ground ridiculously hard, and the deployment pod lands right behind Batman. It pops open, he steps back, and it closes in around him. For those of you who played Arkham Knight, it's gonna get good.
Oh yes.
Iron Man flies up and lands, and he's like, all right, I've had enough of your bullshit. Come out of the pod, and let's actually have some fun here. And by fun, I mean I'm about to whoop your ass. So come on. Come on. I hope you're prepared. The pod opens up, revealing the advanced suit. And the only thing Batman says is, I'm always prepared. By utilizing what was considered in Arkham Knight the fear takedowns, when Iron Man aims the repulsors and starts firing, Batman's reaction speed allows him to not only dodge these, but allow him to leap across what is honestly a 5-foot gap between the two of them and take Iron Man to the ground. The two of them are now locked in combat yet again, but this time Iron Man throws him down the roof. Iron Man looks over and goes, "Ha! Suck it, motherfucker!" Grappler, right around the neck. Ah, shit, yank. So now they're both tumbling and they're fighting and beating the crap out of each other. Batman, being as quick to the draw as he is, grabs a hold of Iron Man, turns, and he allows him to take the brunt of the fall. But right when Iron Man hit the ground, he basically hits the jets and just takes off, flying at maximum speed. But what he didn't realize was Batman was waiting for that. He lets go for a split second, lets him fly forward, grabs onto the ankles, and then just cuts one of the thrusters, forcing them to collide back down again. And this time, when Iron Man and Batman land, Batman has his arms behind him, so he can't just use the repulsors now. He grabs hold of his head and he slams it into the pavement. And when he pulls it back up, final warning: go home. Tony simply chuckles and he's like, "All right, you want to play? Let's fucking play." Because while he was flying around, he took this as his opportunity to summon the Hulkbuster. The Hulkbuster lands. And using the one jump jet he had in his ankle, flies forward, barely getting Batman off of him. And at this point, he swaps suits back to a more standard one, docks himself into the Hulkbuster, and now Batman's in trouble. So he's flying at Batman as fast as he can. And like he's throwing punches, he's shooting massive repulsors, he's firing missiles, he is doing as much as he can to just catch this motherfucker. Because at this point, it's drunken rage and it's his ego getting the best of him. He just wants to make Batman suffer at this point. Honestly, I can't blame him if you're taking an ass beating this bad. But what he's not realizing is Batman, once again, he's playing this to his advantage. Because by the time Tony finally did catch up with him, Batman had left a decoy. So when Tony cocked back with his Hulkbuster armor and said 99, punches the shit out of the decoy, thinking he won this, and then he sees the red glow. The Hellbat suit is now in play. He's throwing punches. But Batman is he's too fast. He's too agile. There's no way Iron Man can actually keep up at this point. And he's running out of power quick. So by the time Batman is finally able to just get him to stop fighting, with the Hellbat suit, he yanks Tony out of the Hulkbuster, and he just holds him there, looking him dead in the face, said, "I gave you a chance. Now I will take you home myself if I absolutely have to. If you want to keep this up, I got no problem breaking you." But Iron Man, he just couldn't let it happen because his ego just would not allow it. So he utilizes his, I want to say it was the Endosim, his silver, almost liquidy armor.
Mm-hmm.
Endosim?
I think that's what it's called.
The liquid metal suit that was bonded with a symbiote-like structure, yes.
Okay, thank you. So he utilizes his Endosim armor, and he utilizes this armor to grab a hold of the Hellbat suit and completely drain it of its energy. Batman, now being forced to completely eject from the Hellbat suit, initiates the self-destruct sequence in it. It explodes and drops the whole building on Tony. But Tony bursts out, and he's like, "You pissed me off. Now I don't give a shit who you think you are. I'm ending this shit." So with all the power he got from the Hellbat suit, he fires this massive repulsor beam at him. And somehow, some way, Batman is still outpacing him. Believing that he's at the peak of human evolution at this point. He finally says, "Fuck this shit." And he uses the Unibeam, which was a bad call. The Unibeam is one weapon that definitely drains the power in his suits a lot faster. Batman is just biding his time. But one thing that Batman clearly underestimated is just how damn determined Tony is to just end this. 1 second, checking the chat. I'm not familiar with that one. So this is it. This is the final stance. After having drained what was left of the Endosim's energy reserves, Tony has no choice but to basically ditch that suit and go back into a normal one. Whatever those little things that wrap around the ankle, I don't remember what those are actually called. I want to say tassels? Basically, Batman throws one right at his ankles. He drops. Batman walks up. Simply tells Tony, I gave you a chance. You didn't want to listen. Slaps some cuffs on him. Loads him into the cop car. And they drive away with him. Batman wins.
I was going to say, considering that if I recall the history of the Endosim real closely, it is an actual symbiote.
Yeah. And now I'm going to go into why I specifically stated Batman won this. But before we do, I'm going to state this really quickly. I used to be a very strong believer that Batman could beat anybody. Until I really sat down and I really stopped to think about it. In Batman's actual comic book history, almost all of his first encounters, he lost. And because of that, everybody seems to gloss over that because it's always the fights where he wins that everybody wants to just, Beast, you good?
Yeah, I was really tired.
If you want to bounce, dude,
I
you can.
tired. I'm Batman.
Wish you quit interrupting middle stuff like that, but okay.
Yeah, Bees, if you want to go to bed, dude, you can. I mean, if you want to stay to hear why I chose Batman for this, by all means.
I'm gonna try and stick around for as long as I can. I'm sorry. I mean,
You're fine. No, you're fine. It's been a hot minute since you've been on, so you're not used to it.
Okay.
So either way, Batman is not this unstoppable titan that we all kind of grew used to kind of portraying him as. And, again, despite the fact that for this specific bout he won, Batman as a whole, we need to stop pretending that he is this unstoppable force of nature. Because at the end of the day, let's be real. I stated this already. If you're going to give the prep time to Batman, you got to give it to his opponent as well. Because that's what evens the playing field. How many times over will his opponent actually lose if he was allowed the same level of prep time that Batman was? Really think about that. If you were to give Spider-Man the same level of prep time that Batman would, Spider-Man would fucking crush him.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, while yes, for this specific battle, I definitely agreed with the masses, Batman would win. But that doesn't mean that Batman is the best. He's far from it. And it took me a long time to finally come to that realization that we need to stop pretending that Batman is this absolute juggernaut that can't be stopped. That's not the case whatsoever. We need to chill when it comes to Batman and start understanding that if he was put in a scenario where his opponent had prep time, that fight will go very differently. With that stated, here's why I say Batman ultimately won this. And you could kind of tell throughout the way the battle went. Batman took a minute to actually get to the scene. At this point, he already had the entire battle planned out. But the thing that really ultimately helped him was utilizing the environment to his advantage. That is what ultimately gave him the win here. The fact that he is far beyond more willing to utilize his environment as a weapon in the fight to allow him to control the fight. That ultimately is what gave him the win here. Batman is a master at utilizing more than just his own skills. The environment is just as much a weapon as any gadget he has. So at the end of the day, for this scrap battle specifically, Batman wins. Now we can finally get into the after party, and if anybody wants to go ahead and bounce out early, this is your time to do so. Anybody who does bounce out early, though, I will tell you what the topic is for next week, as well as what next week's scrap battle is. So with that said, I will be right back because I got to get the banners and such set up.
Apparently, my Knight Rider Transformer is supposed to be arriving tomorrow.
Mine's gonna arrive Monday.
Mine's never going to arrive because I didn't buy it.
I only just got this notification like 5 minutes ago, and I'm like, it just said it was coming December 1st. Why is it all of a sudden tomorrow?
Because why not? You're a reviewer. Why not review it early?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's great. I just thought it was like it just came out of the blue. I just thought it was a little too random.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna complain. It's just weird.
While we also wait on this current occasion for BC to start making stuff up for next week and whatnot, let me ask you guys in the audience, what are you happy to be expecting for any kind of upcoming figure? Let us know in the comment section down below. Or in the live chat over there. Because that's how you get people to interact, by talking to the crowd.
This
Huzzah.
is how we do it.
One thing we definitely don't do is pass out in the middle of the...
Yeah, my sleep schedule's all out of whack because, like, that's what happens when you work nights. And then on your days off, you're like, do I sleep at night or do I sleep during the day? My body is confused.
I mean, I work night shift too, but I think it's just bad sleep schedule, I think, at that point. Anyway, any exciting okay, I guess I should ask this question. If anyone has any thoughts on what's going to be happening for next year's line of Transformers, what your thoughts should be in the line? Okay, never mind, he's back.
Actually, that's a really good one. I was actually hoping we could talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, I was going to say, because as soon as I said it, I was hoping to get, like, us to redirect, but then you came out and I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait then, never mind.
But yeah, no. Next year's line is all about the primes, right? You want to know what I want? I want one of those primes alt modes to be something that some way, shape, or form looks just like fucking Wind Charger. Hey, Hasbro, where's my fucking wind charger?
So my
Yeah,
question,
be careful what you wish for, because once we get wind charger,
Don't you fucking dare, bees! I will boot you out right now and force you to go to bed.
we'll get a sea spray.
I would
He's
like a
hopefully
sea spray.
next year.
dead-ass Wheeljack and dead-ass wind charger.
I want Wheeljack. I want sea spray, wind charger, and especially a power glide.
Oh, look, someone wants to die in the audience too.
Hey, JJ, welcome to the chat.
He's been here. He's just been in the background for a while, apparently.
Oh, sure. You'll say that there, but you won't come in here and say it. I see how it is.
People want you back.
So, unrelated, but SS Devastator is a must-have, even if I'm not really into G1. I just love combiners. Honestly, I feel like SS86 Devastator is going to be one of those things that where initially everybody's going to hate on it. Oh, it's too small. Oh, he doesn't do enough. Oh, he doesn't mean. As soon as the whole set is out, they're going to start seeing it on everybody's shelves, and they're going to be sitting there like, fuck, I should have got in on this. It happens every time.
I've already seen one complaint about Devastator. One, what it is?
What?
He's too short. They did a hold on, let me go into explain what I mean by that. They did a size comparison with I think it was 86 Prime. Apparently, from head to toe or toe to head, whatever, he sits about at at least Devastator's hip level. So perfect dick line sight. They're saying he's too short because of that, or Prime is too tall. So okay, guys, they're not going to be perfectly scaled. If he is going to be actually sized Devastator, he'd be bigger than your fucking house. They don't have enough money nor plastic to do that, guys. Come on, think with your heads here.
Well, what they're probably saying is the scale may not be right entirely because of the fact that Prime should scale is in the eye of the beholder. For me, I try to go based off of what the Sunbow scale chart says. And if the Sunbow scale chart says that Prime technically has to come up to the hips or the knees, then that's where he has to end up.
Plus, if you logically think about it, the legs are formed up of a Voyager figure, so it makes sense that they're about the height of a Voyager figure.
Exactly. So now there's a lot of complaints with the SS86 Devastator that I simply want to just go ahead and address real quick. The first one being the size. If you genuinely feel that the cartoon scale of him being around about the size of Omega Supreme is fine. I can kind of see why, because that was the scale for the longest time, specifically for Omega and Devastator. But if you're also one of those people where you swear by the Sunbow scale chart, you contradicted yourself right there, because the scale chart specifically states Devastator is significantly smaller than Omega Supreme.
Plus,
Combiners are never going to be Titan scaled. It never made sense.
Accurate to itself sometimes.
And while yes, fair, cartoons of any type will always fudge scale. No show is perfect. No show will ever be able to properly show the size.
Example A.
Let me put it to you this way. With how much everybody swears up and down, oh, well, the G1 cartoon scale is absolutely fucked. Nothing is ever the proper scale. Armada.
Hey,
oh
real
my
quick,
gosh,
real
don't
quick.
even get me started.
Briximus, bring Long Hole up on the screen again.
The tidal wave discussion on tidal wave's scale. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. That's my point.
Briximus. Hold Long Hole up. Hold the Long Hole up to the screen. No, to the camera. Hey, long haul. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Oh,
God dang! I started. His arms are like the joke was. His arms are so stubby. I was like, I don't think you'd even be able to me like, eh.
Yeah, I see what you were doing.
hey T-Rex, if you're happy, you know, clap your hands. Oh.
Now, okay. No, hold tight, JJ. Let me explain. Scale, like I said, is in the eye of the beholder. I try my best to go by the Sunbow scale. Obviously, I'm gonna make exceptions somewhere within the Sunbow scale chart because let's face it, scale is never gonna be perfect. Let's just accept that. For instance, right now, I have SS86 Optimus Prime as my Prime. And I have Earthrise Megatron as my Megatron. Anybody who's about to hate on me for using Earthrise, shut up. That's a better toy than you realize. I use Earthrise as my Megatron. 86 Prime is taller than that Megatron. That is a scale that bugs the crap out of me. But that's less the fault of the scale of the characters and more the scale of how the toys were made. SS86 Prime is significantly taller than the Earthrise Voyager, as a commander damn well fucking should be in my eyes. That said, if we're going by actual Sunbow scale chart rules, they have to be eye to eye. That is where I make an exception. In my eyes, Megatron should always be taller. And that is precisely why anybody who was really hoping and praying that I was going to get New Age Romulus, guess what? Since the scale is off, it ain't happening.
Wah, wah, wah.
So with that stated, guys, I will be right back. I need to use the bathroom.
Would you cut that out?
Don't fall in.
It's
Don't fall in like I did. Wait, what?
Wild and Savage. Watch over.
I recognize that dance.
Don't get me started on the gun Megatron debate. Yeah, let's not go there. Because there's still a certain member of our group who's fighting for the chance for gun Megatron to be a thing again.
Is it Rumble or Frenzy?
Yeah, this is what we're gonna get for a gun mode Megatron. I'm okay with him being a tank as long as they get the proportions perfect.
I mean, I like Nerf Megatron, so I mean, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I like it, but like if they're gonna go for screen accuracy, they're gonna have to stick with the tank because I guess the only way they can get away with a gun mode Megatron is if they make him look like a Nerf gun.
Ink Testic says, just gonna let it out. The Combiner Wars Constructicons always looks so goofy. I mean, I wouldn't know. I think this is like the first time I actually even seen one of them.
I'm actually combining them right now.
No, it's funny. I never actually had a Devastator. Like, I'm pretty sure I've run into at least one of a few people who are like, "Oh yeah, I own a Devastator. I own a full thing." I have never seen one in my area ever.
Well, I only managed to get mine because I ordered him online because temporarily in like early 2020, this was like January of 2021. For some reason, just randomly out of the blue, no announcement from Hasbro, Amazon just randomly got them back in stock, like for retail price for some reason. And I happened to get my tax returns like around that same time, and so I decided to buy Devastator.
hold on. Let me just put this out real quick because I see JJ talking to Incan about it. But now we are at the modern era where all the modes can look good, except if you're Menasor from Combiner Wars.
Yeah,
Because
we don't talk about that hunk of shit.
Because we don't talk about Bruno.
I got my Unite Warriors Devastator off of BBTS. I can't remember if I remember getting him back in 2019. I can't remember if it was. Yeah, I got him later in the year because I was about to say I think I got him with my tax return I had gotten that year, but I was like, wait, no, that was Unite. That was as Legends Metroplex.
Oh. But yeah, I've been enjoying Combiner Wars Devastator for his. I decided that now that there's the 86 one, and I plan on getting it and replacing it with this guy. That's why I got this guy down from the shelf, because I was like, I want to play with this guy and mess around with him for as long as possible leading up to that, so that I feel like I, got the full experience out of this guy. You know what I mean?
Right. For me, I can't really say much for that because, again, I don't own a Devastator. I never did. The only combiner I actually have owned is literally Volcanicus. That's the only one I have.
The Legacy Menasor is really nice too, even though it's not necessarily a combiner in the traditional sense.
You see, I also want him, but at the same time, I'm now have to sacrifice him for the sake of Tidal Wave. Because I have limited space, and right now that space is being saved for Tidal Wave, damn it.
Hmm.
Or wait, you can't see because freaking BC's logo in the way.
Yeah, BC. I'm just kidding.
Apparently your logo's in the way of something.
Well, it's like every time I point at my shelf to like make an example here, it's like, oh wait, I can't point at it. It's censored.
Oh, good play that 86 Devastator's chess pieces. It's too loud. Wah. Anyways, back to the Age of the Primes. So people are swearing up and down that the Megatronus figure that we just got revealed is just a retool of Tarn, and I'm gonna go ahead and squash that claim now. It is not a retool of fucking Tarn.
He's bigger than Tarn.
Not only is he bigger than Tarn, the transformation is completely fucking different. Like, how many signs do you need to see that it's a completely new tool?
And the
It's a completely new mold. Like, what is your fucking beef here? Why are you constantly trying to sit here and claim something that's clearly not true?
I want to see the thing. I'm going to look at that real quick because I'm curious.
Like, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the Tarn figure, and I would love to see more reuses out of it. But if you're really about to sit here and claim that Megatronus is a reuse of that, you're out of your fucking mind. That said, when it comes to Age of the Primes as a whole, I'm waiting to reserve judgment until I see all, and I mean all, of Wave 1 for it before I finally make up my mind on how I feel about Age of the Primes as a whole. Because if the first wave, if my memory on it is correct, for the most part, I'm going to be getting a good portion of the figures from it. Because if memory serves right, first wave, leader class-wise, is Megatronus, G2 Grimlock. Deluxes are Solus, Air Raid, Animated Wasp,
Wait,
and one other one I don't fully remember.
I thought one of the deluxes was supposed to be Alchemist, not Solus.
I thought it was Solus.
I thought it was Alchemist.
For Wave 1?
Yeah,
I'm
for
pretty
Wave
sure
1.
Wave 1 was Solus.
I thought that was Wave 2.
But whatever. The point is, when it comes to the first wave overall, I'm definitely getting Air Raid. I'm definitely getting Animated Wasp. I'm definitely getting Voyager Red Alert. And if the wave breakdown is correct, I will not rest until I have that Robots in Disguise Skybite in my hands.
I'm looking forward to that figure because I want to see how that turns out. I want to see like if they're gonna like if they're gonna make an updated version of Skybite. I'm hoping that they can make it basically take a lot of like cues and design elements or whatever from the original toy, which I do have, but add a few new things to make. I don't know, there's some things on the figure that like I love Skybite. I love the figure, but there's just some kibble that's very obstructive. So I'm sure they could probably find a way to make that like not be as obstructive. Maybe they could figure something out to make them make it where you could actually shift the kibble around so you could get them in good poses.
Okay, I'll say this much because I'm looking at the pictures of the real Megatronus. I can see where the argument is. I totally see where the argument is, but at the same time, I can also see the different parts of where it would transform. If anything, if you're going to say that looks like Tarn, I'm going to say it looks like Tarn if you got hit with the scarecrow like
The fear toxin.
the fear toxin. At that point, okay, I understand that point of view because that was totally what it looked like. But I could also see where, like, for me, the tank mode looks more closer to Earthrise / Siege / whatever same look, Megatron kind of tank because it looks very similar to that one as well. So
Across the board, it's a new mold.
yeah, I'm not saying
at the end of the day, it's a new mold, and people want to try and claim it's not when the writing's on the wall, but it fucking is. Like this ain't the power of the primes of hunger situation here. Like, nah, this motherfucker 100% is a new mold.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying he wasn't a new mold. I'm saying if, for sake of argument, if we're going to say, oh, it's this, well, I'm going to say, oh, it looks like him as well. So, but no, I'm just saying this does look completely new. If anything, it might transform similarly like Megatron, but I'm not saying it will be exactly like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. But one thing that's definitely like aggravating me is while people are claiming up and down that it's a retool Tarn, even though it's clearly not, there's a ruse that people are claiming that is driving me up a wall even more, and that's literally people are saying that he is the pre-tool for 86 Megatron.
No,
I don't.
No, the fuck he's not. No, the fuck he is not.
Nope.
Exactly, Ink. Thank you. Anyways, back on track with what I was trying to do. Ah,
hey Bricks.
ah.
What?
Wave 1 deluxes for Age of the Primes. Solus Prime, Animated Wasp, Slingshot, and Air Raid. Told you it was Solus.
Oh, so wait, that's right. I forgot. That's why we are going to get another combiner in this one as well, besides just Devastator. We're also going to be possibly getting. His name is Superion, right? My brain's completely blanking. Right?
Yes, you are correct. We are getting Superion next year as well. And I'm like, again, I'm waiting to see what Slingshot and Air Raid look like. Although I find that a little strange because if memory serves me right, when they were doing Menasor in Wave 1, we got drag strip out of it. Mm-hmm. Unless, oh my god, those clever bastards! That's how they're gonna do it. So we know that they're really only doing like 3 waves for the 2 lines now, right?
Yeah.
Wave 1, Slingshot and Air Raid. Wave 2, Swindle and Vortex. Wave 3,
Silverbolt.
Skydive and Firefly. Next year's line, Wave 1, brawl and blast off.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. You were just saying deluxe was not it. I was like, wait, why did you not include Silver Bolt?
Because Silverbolt is going to be
Yeah,
next year's
yeah.
commander. That much we know for a fact.
Actually, that is brought into question, though, if he is going to be it.
How?
Because there's been a lot going around about other commanders for next year, other candidates.
No. It's Silverbolt.
You're sure it's not Jinrai?
I'm 1,000% sure it's not Jinrai. Just like how I am 1,000% sure it's not going to be a fucking pre-tool out of the Star Convoy. Like, that's another one I am tired of hearing. I know. This is the JG1 fan in me, all right? There's no calming me down.
Yes.
You're welcome. You fight me again, you're giving me that damn HasLab Star Saber.
$300.
Use the wallet. See, the saddest part is, I feel like I could offer up something that would almost guarantee the fucking win this time. Anyways,
JJ also says, although in the listing, Star Convoy is the Titan class for 2025, no mention of Jinrai, unfortunately.
There's been mention of Jinrai everywhere. They have a leaked listing for some new Jinrai coming out next year.
okay, you're gonna need to show me proof on that one.
Oh, jeez.
So, anyways, that being said, when it comes to, like, honestly, we already have a general idea on what the animated watch is going to look like, what the aerial bots are going to look like. I'm curious as to what Solas's alt mode is going to be, because we've never seen what she turns into.
Not saying she would, but I'm saying this as partially a thought and partly a joke. What if she does turn into the hammer?
I thought she
I'm
would
not
have
even
turned
gonna
into
fuck
a
with
forge.
you on this. I would fucking love that.
Like I know
I would
that was
adore
her.
that. That would be so
like-
fucking cool.
Like I know she wasn't actually the hammer, because if that was the case, she immediately fucking died in Transformers Prime. Maybe we remind each other here. But I'm just saying it'd be kind of cool, because then it means since she's already a forger of some kind, since they're keeping that as her main canon ideal, transforming into some sort of equipment would be an interesting thought, because we have yet to have
That is true. That is true.
like other than core class figures,
go.
we have really yet to have a like what seems like every generational line at this point has some form of weaponizers, fossilizers, that kind of thing. What turn is this Cybertronian jet? Maybe.
Before I get my hopes up, let me explain something.
Solus Prime will turn into an anvil.
If Solus Prime turned into a Cybertronian jet, watch her be the pre-tool for Power Glide.
What?
I'm going based off of this comment. If she were to get a Cybertronian jet, watch her be the pre-tool for Power Glide.
Why would she be the pre-tool for Power Glide?
I don't fucking know. It's a Cybertronian jet at that point. Don't make it fucking work.
Power Glide is not a Cybertronian jet.
Never mind. Just forget it.
The reason
What
why
if
I
it
want a
isn't
Power
a
Glide so
retooled
badly
RC?
is because of his alt mode. He turns into an A10 Warthog.
I'm saying she would have the overall transformation scheme of him, just not be him.
Maybe.
Anyway, but besides, my point is, from what I'm saying, each form of generational line has some sort of combining weaponizer character. This season, it's the rock characters, the Infernax. So what if in this instance, Solus is the weaponizer / fucking weaponizer of the Age of the Primes line, because since she's the forger of the Primes.
I see where you're going with that. First off, so it doesn't seem like I'm just completely ignoring you, but yeah, the Izers are gone. Like they're gone now.
Oh, so that the rocks are the last of the line.
The rocks are the last of the Izers. Yes.
And if I'm being completely honest, I'm kind of glad they are, because I was getting kind of sick of those figures, to be honest.
I mean, literally, this was like the only time I like full blown went hard on an Izer line.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I'm still struggling to get my hands on Calcitron.
At this point, I need him too.
Yes. Rock.
Rock.
There was a point where he was legit throwing rocks at me the entire time.
Paper.
Rock.
Paper. Paper beats rock.
Scissors.
Rock.
Bullshit. Anyway, so are you wanting that Star Raiders Leader class set purely for Calcitron, or are you wanting the other figures from it as well?
I do at least want the Thundertron out of it because, let's face it, that's Thundertron. That's not like I like the solo release. I do, but given I had the original toy, the new one's head bugged the shit out of me, and the one that's in the 3-pack is the one I wanted.
Okay.
Wait, didn't you? Wait,
But
didn't
yeah,
you
like,
you were giving me the?
Yeah, I was asking because I don't know. I mean, if you're interested, I might sell you my Calcitron.
Unless you're selling the Thundertron with it, I ain't interested.
Oh shit! Never mind then.
Real quick, one last note. I do need to go, but one more thing I wanted to say. Is there any figures that, or like a character that anyone wants to see get made that has not shown up in any of the leaked listings yet?
Wind Charger.
Yeah, Wind Charger. That's all I'm
For
gonna
me,
say about him. That's all I was
for
gonna
me,
say about Wind Charger. I swear.
Don't
I guess you can say you're.
fucking dare, JJ. I swear to God.
I guess you're dead serious about this. Anyway.
The figure I really want to see.
Rob, get out of the way! Let a beatdown happen.
I really want to see a Beast Wars Rampage. Bold words for someone who's not in the StreamYard chat.
JJ, you better get your ass in here.
JJ,
Get your ass
get
in
your
here.
ass in here.
Get
or
your,
else.
get your motherfucking ass in here, JJ. No hiding.
Anyway,
No hiding.
I'm gonna get going.
No
I'll
hiding.
catch
I
you guys
just
next Friday.
no, Rob. I
or
just want to
whatever.
talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to
Okay,
him.
so I want
just want to talk to him.
a live Wind Charger.
Later.
Later, Bricks. And Tailgate. Oh, and then I
Swerve out of the gears. I would love that.
took the words right out of my mouth.
And an Outback out of LeBron.
And maybe,
figure I
and
wanna
maybe,
see.
and maybe if they can, if Hasbro wants to repaint and retool SS86 Bumblebee into Goldbug.
No. No what?
Yes, Rob.
No,
I want to see Sea Spray.
I need to see that too. Because and the main reason why I want to is apparently he's gonna be a retool of Cosmos if that happens.
I want an updated version of Warpath. Why? Why are you aiming at me?
I looked over to grab this, and I was like, "Oh, you changed directions."
I don't know if y'all heard Mike on that.
I'm Junior.
Wrong one. Thank you.
I am an adult.
shit like a girl.
Gorilla belly button.
Yeah, at least he said it this time, not me.
I got you earned that. You earned that.
I got one that'll make him laugh.
Notice how quickly he took off and ran.
Anyway, if I could say mine, I don't know if
Yes,
mine
go
was
ahead.
first.
Sorry. Everybody shut up so you can talk.
For mine, if I want, I don't know if he was. I haven't seen the listings because I don't know. I don't pay attention to the news fucking anymore. I would love to see an updated Warpath.
We have one.
Yeah, I know Kingdom. I mean more updated from that.
Oh. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, the Kingdom Warpath is already as good as it is, so it's already as good as it's gonna get. So
I look from Kingdom specifically. He's my favorite deluxe. Like, period. I love Warpath.
that figure is just beautiful. Just
That figure is fucking awesome, and I like the amount of love and attention that went into that Warpath is criminally underrated. Off topic, was drawing TF1 Prime for the portion of the stream. I mean, if we could get you in, I'd love to actually see it, but not this time because it's
Also,
Mhm.
apparently, there's some technical issues going on the StreamYard stuff. So best not to do that.
yeah, nah, it's probably best not to do that. I want to see a retool of the 86 Bumblebee into Cliff Jumper.
yes, please.
Please God.
Yes, please. It needs to happen.
So wait, are they still continuing?
Hold
Like
on.
at least
Rob's cooking. Rob's cooking.
I'm trying to think because I can't remember what it's labeled on the fans toy. Red and white.
Oh, it's the swerve.
I don't remember for that one.
All right, never mind.
are they? I mean, I guess they are considering the animated Waspinator, wasn't it?
Please do. Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
Obviously, since I saw the animated Waspinator in the listing, so are they still continuing like, at least like the legacy concept?
Yes, the legacy concept is continuing. It's just not
Okay.
gonna take like the full blown focus anymore.
Then, in that case, Armada Demolisher.
I second that. I second that. I fucking
Because-
second that.
Because let's be honest, we just now got Wheeljack. We need another Decepticon, and it needs to be Demolisher.
By all means, go ahead and send it. Now, you were trying to cook again?
I was just looking at the Decepticons. Updated reflector.
I wouldn't mind it up
See if they could do something different.
or make him look more like an Earth camera.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see an updated figure of? Well, a lot of figures I'd like to see updated from. One, Armada Cyclonus.
Okay, I can't fault you.
I
Yeah.
can't fault him for that one. Yeah.
And number two, I'd like to see an updated
Bean.
No. Anyway, I'd like to see an updated Cybertron Primus.
Pass, lad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna happen regardless. And number three, I'd like to see an updated Cybertron Megatron.
I would hope for leader class on that one, and please God, let him be a new mold. But I swear to God, if they just take some random race car and claim it's Cybertron Megatron, I will fucking riot.
Okay, I was gonna say he lagged on my end, so I didn't hear what he said. But then the fact you said Cybertron Megatron, okay, now I know he's.
I did indeed see your message, Ink. I will check it out after the stream.
Now, what I would like to see, I would like to see is a leader class scale version of this for make him into Energon. Yeah, and then repaint this into Energon Galvatron.
Technically, since he hasn't shown up in the listing yet, what I'm about to say technically counts. I want to see how Nexus Prime is going to turn out.
Isn't Nexus Prime if I recall correctly, isn't Nexus Prime the first of the combiners, so to speak?
Yep.
Yep.
And because of that, I have I take that back. I had 2 theories on how we're going to get him. First theory, he comes immediately after Bruticus. So basically, the commander set up for the next 3 years, in my eyes, 2025 is going to be Silverbolt. 2026 is going to be Onslaught. But 2027 will be Heatwave.
But aren't we gonna get Heatwave? No, that's Rescue Bot's Heatwave for 2020.
Yeah, I was about to say, one of you is probably going to get confused and be like, wait, what about the Rescue Bot? Oh. So then by that point, you know how I went through that whole 2 aerial bots, then the Combaticons, then the final 2 aerial bots, then the final 2 Combaticons?
Mm-hmm. So next,
2 of the Nexus, then maybe 2 of the Protecto bots, and then the final 2 Nexus. So that could be how we get Nexus Prime, or, and this is probably what's gonna actually happen, which is gonna annoy me because it will be the one time I would actually be sitting here like, I need the exclusive. Nexus ends up being a ridiculously expensive exclusive of some type.
And as a 5-pack.
And as a 5-pack, yes.
You want to know who I think needs a new figure?
Oh.
Quick Strike.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. I have United Silverbolt, which, by the way, anybody who genuinely loves Legacy United Voyager Silverbolt, you're about to not like me at all, because I feel that figure is overhyped. I barely like it. It's neat.
Which figure?
Legacy United Beast Wars Silverbolt.
Now, what I think that they should do different with a Legacy, with the new Quick Strike is, okay, do away with the ball jointed neck. Give him like the same kind of joints that Magmatron. Yeah, Magmatron's what kind of dinosaur? Like the sea-based dinosaur was that? Like the sea-based one, like the way like the neck joints are on that one. Give Quick Strike's Cobra head tail apparatus that same treatment.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Because, yeah, I feel like that's the only thing that would actually work and would last much longer than ball joints. And Transart made, which also on that note, Transart made a Quick Strike figure, and yeah, like they use a bendy wire like in that. So I'm like, no, that's probably gonna break eventually.
To help answer the question of what the sea dinosaur was, due to apparently I'm just using limited resources of the tfwiki.net's explanation, it's called Seasaurus. I'm sure if we had a certain
the actual dinosaur in question that it's based on is Elasmosaurus.
Elasmosaurus, that's what it was.
You're welcome.
And yeah, like I do you guys think that it's possible that they would give us modernized versions of the Transmetal iterations of the Beast Wars cast? Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying give them vacuum metallized parts, which we know how that's expensive. I'll be okay with just metallic, paint.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it too. So basically, my question ultimately is, what size scale would he be?
Quick strike.
Yeah.
Most likely deluxe.
Deluxe? Maybe he was one of the small. I want to say, gosh, I'm trying to remember how big he was compared to everyone else. Was he like Waspinator size? I remember in the original toy line.
I think he was slightly shorter than Waspinator.
So in that case, he would be a deluxe class, and maybe to raise the price point, give him some kind of bloosh effect.
We'll see. Anyways, characters that we do not have listings for still, if we're still on that.
I like to see an updated. Oh my gosh, I would like to see an updated.
I got one.
Can Hasbro please update me the Monster Bot dudes?
They'll probably just re-release the Titans Return figures.
No, I mean, were they headmasters at the same time in the cartoon?
No, they weren't.
No, they weren't. So if they weren't headmasters, Hasbro, please update the Monster Bots so that they're not headmasters, please. Thank you.
I have also one. Considering they did it, and I don't recall. I don't feel like they're going to be doing it as a one-time only thing. Because let's be honest, this is Hasbro we're talking about here. Even if they said they're going to, they're not. I feel like if they're going to start a pattern, I feel like in Wave 3 or the third year of Age of the Primes, they're going to give us a wait. I don't remember if they already said it in the listings or not because I might be misremembering. But Rescue Bots Heatwave.
He is indeed in one of the waves.
Okay, then my bad.
He's in the second wave for Age of the Primes next year.
Okay, my bad. I just didn't remember that.
Basically, if JJ wishes, he can just pull up the wave breakdowns for Age of the Primes, and we'll go from there.
I got one.
I got one as well. I'm gonna make it brief.
This one might make him smile like a bitch.
Oh yeah, I would definitely love to see that.
Yeah, I'd love to see. Stay. I'd like them to take the Legacy United Tigerhawk mold, repaint it into Razor Claw.
Yeah, I would love to see
I'm surprised
that.
they haven't done that yet.
What are you gonna say?
6-shot.
Oh fuck yes. Oh fuck yes. Unfortunately, the size class I want him in is taken up for a while, but god fucking damn, I would love that.
Would you put him as the leader class?
I would put him as a commander.
Yeah.
I can't make commander, but my bad.
Yeah, no, I would kill to see him as a commander. Oh my god.
You want people to die slowly or quickly?
Hey, Inktastic, what are you referring to being amazing? Talk about this or something else?
You're
I think
probably
he meant
talking
that,
about your thing.
Because the moment you pull it up, you went holy heck. So I think he's talking about yours.
So
Okay.
that said, here's one I want. Hey Hasbro, where the fuck is my new Voyager class Beast Wars 2nd Galvatron? Now, of course, watch. I say that now. Literally the next day, a whole shit ton of listings are gonna pop up, and he's gonna be one of them.
Well, I know
Right here.
what I think would be cool. I think they should make a modernized version of Big Country.
So, apparently,
Oh, we're bringing that back. Okay. So, hey Hasbro, where the fuck is my new wind chime?
Shit, not this again. Hey, where's my Armada scout?
Yeah, no, and where's my new quick shift?
Hey JJ, what was that one character you wanted again? Oh, this is gonna be the one time you behave for Hasbro, right? Because you don't want to get shot, right?
I know a perfect figure for you, JJ.
A little bit
Anything
of
that has a gorilla belly button.
Wah, wah, wang.
Would you cut that
No.
Not the first time.
out?
We blame you, bees.
I cannot believe Beast just brought back an old gimmick.
I was literally thinking about that. I was like, I missed that joke. It was so fun. So, I know. So
Can I also get a new power?
Anyway, as I was saying, apparently Swindle won't be in the second wave of Age of the Primes because Vortex took his place.
What?
I mean,
Well, so much for that.
Meaning,
Never
meaning
mind.
that
Forget everything I
Swindle-
said. Forget everything I said.
You said something?
Fuck you.
I mean, it's still a Combaticon, so it's not really changing much.
Yeah, Vortex is taking Swindle's place in the second wave of Age of the Primes. It means
Why did you
Swindle,
pick up the sniper rifle again? Because it's fine.
what I think would be cool is that
Swindle
they
will be a
should, make,
runaway figure, unfortunately. So
they should give us a commander class Transformers Cybertron Optimus Prime. Maybe a wing saber and what was the line?
Hope you didn't want your hat because it's now on the other side of the couch.
So what was the figure that you wanted against Savage? You couldn't quite get it out that time.
So when am I gonna get my Armada side?
Hey Hasbro, when am I gonna get an updated Beast Wars Optimal?
Can I have an updated Computron?
What? That wasn't even Hasbro side.
That's
That was just
my
magnet.
issue. Fuck. Wait a
Can
minute.
I have? Hey Hasbro, where's my updated?
No, fuck you.
Actually, Ink. No, I wasn't gonna say sideswipe. I was gonna say sideways.
I want to see that.
Hey Hasbro, where's my updated Beast Wars?
My updated
Can I have my updated record?
Hey Hasbro, Hasbro,
Updated scavenger.
give me an updated Transmetal Beast Wars, mate.
Also, I said that. I already said scavenger.
Hey Hasbro, where's my HasLab lamp?
Wait. Here, hold on. This is gonna be a complete shot at all of this one specific side. Hey Hasbro, where's my Energon? Everyone who likes Energon line anything just dies immediately.
Hey Hasbro, can I have an animated Omega Spring? Please? Please?
Oh my god!
Hey
I thought
Hasbro,
I thought you pushed him, not shoved him.
God damn. He quit. Hasbro got bad.
hey Hasbro, where's my updated Beast Machines Botanica?
Okay, that's quite enough. That's quite enough. All right.
Titan class Armada Unicron.
God damn it.
And then repainted the Energon.
They really just want you dead tonight.
I got one they can't ship me for.
Where's my 86
Have
that
it
wheel?
repainted in Energon colors.
Cybertron Galveston.
Where's my 86 dead wind charger?
What's burning?
Cybertron Third.
All right. Well, I think we'll call it because he decided to try me again. Everybody up, please. Everybody up.
Free Scorpion.
Please, up.
There you go.
Looks like you is being reissued.
Anyways, so the episode is finally starting to come to an end. So with that said, let's go ahead and go into what the next topic is. Savage, if you will.
Next, okay. Next time on the episode of Scrapyard, will JJ ever not talk shit from the comment section? Will Bees ever stop getting shot at for something he never wants? Will Rob not get bitched at by BC ever again? That's not going to happen. Will BC ever get his predictions correct? And will the Savage come back again? Because so far, I've been lucky about this so far. Find out next time on episode 118. We should have called this a Spartan episode because of 117.
Q&A
Rabuko style. And what this is his birthday next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is this is a topic that he wanted to do. We're all going to ask him questions and he has to answer them. Obviously within reason. But next week's battle, this is something he's been wanting to do for a while. And he's taking this as the opportunity to finally make it happen.
Me or him?
Astro Train versus Blitzwing.
Oh, God. Battle of the Triple Fingers.
I have a feeling that Astro Train.
This is gonna be
yeah.
This is going to be that G1 episode all over again, isn't it? Where
He
Blitzwing,
wants
Astro
to
Train
know,
fight
what
for
do
each
you
other.
want for your birthday?
A booster seat?
I'll take the booster seat if he can survive 2 months without a beard.
Anyways, thank you for coming on, Ink. I appreciate it.
Thank you, by the way. Just all your comments.
Yeah, happy early birthday from Ink. I will be checking your message here as soon as we are off. But yeah, that's basically the end of the episode. You're a dick, Bees. I thought he was setting up for the get shot joke again.
Huh?
Anyways, this was a much better episode tonight. I'm very happy. That said, I've been BT. Fucking Rob.
Savage Prime.
Flaming Bees.
JJ Prime Reviews.
I'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.